first grabbed 3 of these longer wooden arrows from Dollar Tree and just cut off the hanger right off the back of them. And then I will be using some red, yellow, and orange chalk paint. However, you could totally use acrylic paint for this. So I just painted each of the arrows, each of those colors. This only required 1 coat. You want to just allow everything to completely dry before moving on to the next step. Once those were dry, I wanted to give these a more weathered look. So I am just applying just a small amount of this brown acrylic paint, just putting a very small amount of the paint on my paintbrush and just kind of going around the edges of the arrow and just kind of dry brushing in the middle of each of the arrows. And go ahead and let that completely dry. I then created these stencils off of my Cricut machine, apples, pumpkins, and cornfield. So all I did was just apply them onto each of the arrows. Obviously the pumpkins is going to be the orange one. And then using a cut up Dollar Tree sponge, I just began applying some white chalk paint right through the opening of that stencil, and then go ahead and just peel off that vinyl and let that dry. And then I also used the white for the apples. Very important when you are using any kind of stencil, make sure you have a very small amount of paint on your dabber or sponge. If you have too much on your dabber, that could lead to some bleeding, so just make sure you dab some of that excess off. And then I just added a little bit more of that brown acrylic paint over the lettering just to make that look a little bit more weathered as well. And look at how adorable these look. Next, I am using a 5-gallon paint stir stick. I got these at Home Depot, and I am using some brown acrylic paint, and I'm going to apply it using a baby wipe. This is just going to water down that acrylic paint, and it's going to create a faux wood stain look without using any of those harsh chemicals inside of wood stain. And I just did the same thing to this wooden palette box that also came from Dollar Tree. Just applied the brown acrylic paint using a baby wipe, and just make sure you do the inside as well as the outs. Let that dry, and I thought it would be super cute to wrap around some jute string onto the handles of this box. This part is completely optional, but I thought it just gave it a little something extra. All right, and let's go ahead and assemble this all together. So I am using this Dollar Tree adhesive glue with a mixture of hot glue, just finding a good placement for the arrows on that 5-gallon paint stir stick. And then I just began applying both of those glues onto the back of the arrows and just held that down until they were completely adhered. And then I will be using that wooden box as the base. So I just flipped the arrow sign upside down, applied that glue, and then just placed it onto the back of that wooden box. Allow those glues to completely adhere for about 10 to 15 minutes. Look at how adorable, I love it. I then decided to tie a raffia bow on the ends of each of the arrows as well. Once I had my bow, I just secured it down with a little dab of hot glue. And y'all, I cannot even stand the cuteness of this. I love it. Now this sign is a little top heavy, so by all means add something heavy to the box on the bottom. However, I'm leaving this inside, so I just placed in some floral foam, added a cute fall pick inside of the floral foam, topped it off with some Spanish moss, and then just another pumpkin. And there you go, guys. I think this came out so adorable. I absolutely love it for fall. I hope this inspires you guys to create your own in your own special way. If it did, please be sure to sprinkle the love. Thank you so much, and I hope y'all have a good rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.